Welcome back, everybody, once again to the channel. My name is Chris Ormy, and today we're here with some more Franchise Hockey Manager 2, FHM2. We're jumping back into our Rumbling Rockies game to take over the Colorado Avalanche and to hopefully take them to another Stanley Cup final, or 12, and win a Stanley Cup, or 12. So yeah, I think that we had a good grasp of the game last time. Things look fairly simple, they look well laid out to me. There's nothing too complicated. There's a few screens that are a little fiddly, but for the second version of a game, it's pretty tight already, I'd say. So hopefully it can continue to progress and get better as the versions come out. Now, we were supposed to be general manager and head coach of the Colorado Avalanche. We're not anymore. We're not. For some reason, the owner signed a head coach. So, yeah, I don't know. Kai Suikkanen, he looks okay, okay? First things first, he looks okay. So, we might keep him. I think for now we'll keep him. If it becomes an issue where I can't do everything I want to do, and I need to be a head coach, perhaps I'll go in and negate his contract. It is a known bug in the game that they do hire extra coaches and stuff like that. So yeah, you can see we're within our budget. I have redone most of the staff here, so you can see our assistant coaches are terribly inexperienced. But that's okay because, you know, Vladimir here from the Ukraine is a great offensive coach. You've got Nordstrom here, is a very good defensive. What's pro? I don't know what that is. But defensive skills and defensive coach he's very good at. O'Connor is very good defensive skills, excellent pro. Andre, great pro, excellent physicals. You know, we got great defensive coaching from Robinson, and in here we've got great offensive skills category from Rashid. So I'm happy enough with that. Scouting, I kept a few of our scouts. If they had good in both categories or better, I kept them. So we've got a bunch of new people here with a bunch of different regions. There's a few Manitobas in here. I think there's at least 4 Manitobas. So yeah, really, you know, Canada is well and truly scouted. We got a few like Rhode Island, Illinois, and Pennsylvania off of the US, plus a couple that can do all of the US and Canada. So really, I think we're scouting the right ways. We've got a few of those in North America, a few in North Europe, in Scandinavia. We've got a couple out in Russia and Ukraine. There's a Czech Republic there as well. So we should be getting what we need to be getting done. You can see physical coaching isn't great. Defensive coaching, not great. Offense is okay. And mental and goalkeeping coaches. So that's kind of what I've been looking to do, is make sure the mental coaching is really high, and then goaltending coaching, because I rate goaltenders as supremely important, and we will be getting back into so I've released a couple of minor league players. They've agreed, and we're paying them over the next 2 years. They're going through waivers, all that kind of stuff. You do have to pay them the terms of their contract if you release them. It just gets them rid of your contracts, which you can only have a certain number of contracts at any one time for your organization. So I did need to get a couple of people in. I've looked over the the lines and the roster. I've done a couple of promotions, and Nicholas Millock is a very, very nice defender. He's agreed terms with us. We're just waiting to see if that comes through. Now, 4-star potential, 2.5-star ability. I've got him down at the moment on the third line with Zadorov. I've got Stewart and Barry on the second, and Beauchemin and Johnson to take the first line duties. So that's a bit of experience and a bit of quality along the way. I like his potential. 6'3" is not far from being a good starter anyway. When we look at his ratings here, good passing, puck handling, shooting range and offensive read. So he can be a little bit of a force on the offensive side of the puck, but he can also hit and checking. Defensive read's a little low. If that was a 12 or a 13, I think he'd be 3-star current ability. He's young. I'm hoping those mentals go up. And the physicals, they're okay for me. So really, Millock could be a good third-line defenseman for us. That's kind of what we're looking. He's a top 6 defenseman right now, I'd say. And the potential will be, a bit higher. As well as that, from our... what is it? The ECHL League. The Fort Wayne Comets. Now, I was looking at promoting a youngster on the right wing. We are low on right wingers. But Sean Sidlowski is a decent little right winger. He's got good hockey senses. We don't know too much about his offensive, defensive, mental, or physical ratings. We do know, however, that at the moment he's rated 3.5. Even if that's down to 3, I'm okay with it. I am okay with it. So this guy, for me, goes on the third line right wing. That fills out our team. This is kind of what we got set up. So, Valamov's our number 1 goaltender. Pickard's a backup. Then, like I say, left defenseman on the first line is Beauchemin. Then Brad Stewart. Zadorov taking the third line. Johnson's our first line right defenseman. Barry takes second. Millock will come in and take that third spot. On the left wing, Gabriel Landeskog. Phenomenal player. He's our first line left wing. We're going to link him up in the centre with Matt Duchesne. And on the right-hand side, Jerome Ginla. I think that is a good sort of way of doing it. Both Duchesne and Landeskog, I believe, are quite good attack and defense. Ginla is more just a goal scorer, but I believe that should be a good combination there on that first line. On the second line, I'm going to go with Bodka. Someone I don't know very well, but he seems to be quite well rounded, a good age, and yeah, I don't know. He's new to the Avalanche. I believe we traded for him a few months back. And yeah, he'll do a very good job on that second line. I'm pairing him up. If my mouse will stay. No, see, my mouse wants to move. Wow. But we're pairing him up with Nathan McKinnon. It is McKinnon, not McKinnon. Somebody did try to correct me on that. I know that. It's just that when I'm saying things quickly, I don't really take the time to make sure it's correct sometimes. But again, McKinnon is a very nice player. Very young, high potential. We took him, I believe, second overall. Was he second overall? No, he was first overall. Landeskog was second overall. That's correct, yes. And I think Duchesne was up there as well. Yeah, he was number 3 overall. So in different drafts, our best 3 players, for me anyway, the best 3 players, Landeskog, Matt Duchesne, and Nate McKinnon, they went 1, 2, and 3 in separate drafts because we had some very low years. So now it's the time to get back up there. So McKinnon and Bodka on that second line. And what I've done is turn Carl Soderberg. I've made him into a right winger. He can pretty much play there. quite well. And I think his skill set out on that right flank is pretty good. He's got good defensive and physical ratings, and passing and puck handling. That sort of thing should give him a chance of getting that puck over towards McKinnon, who I'm looking to be a big player this season. So we needed a couple of right wingers, so Soderberg comes in there. On the third line then, I decided to go with youth, Mikko Rantanen, someone I am a big fan of. I don't think he's going to be a phenomenal player like a McKinnon, Duchesne, or Landeskog, but I believe he is going to be a very, very nice player in his day. Our second line left winger of the future. You can see physically he's pretty good, offensively he's pretty good, high professionalism, which I love, and not too bad on the defensive as well. So he slots in on the left-hand side of the third line for me. He'll be matched up there with Mikhail Grigorenko. Grigorenko, again, good physical, and he's fairly well balanced. You can see, apart from shooting, which lets down the offensive, he's got 14s there. Here, he's got like 15s for temperament, determination, and team player. A good third line combination, I believe. And the defensive side of the game, he can step up and lead that line. So on the right hand side, I want Sidlovsky, who we saw trying to get a contract on, and then Jack Skill or Skille. I don't know how you pronounce his name. He's new to me. He fits in because he's a right winger, and I don't really have too many options, to be fair. But the fourth line seems to be where he will thrive. So you can see here he screens in front of the net, which means, the defenseman shooting from the point might be able to get something there. He's accurate when he does shoot. He's more of a defense first. You can see his defense is really nice. He just can't block shots. Everything else is really nice for that fourth line. Again, bravery, determination, team player, really nice there. And his physical ratings, again, nice pace and acceleration, speed and acceleration, and strength. Basically means he's quite a nice counter-attacking player, and he can get back and help out pretty quickly when an attack breaks down. So he's on the right-hand side of the fourth line. We're going with John Mitchell on the inside because a very, very nice defensive category. Good determination, and again, decent amount of strength. So really hoping for big things from this fourth line in terms of shutting down other people. And then Blake Como, just to finish it off, again, some really nice defensive ratings here. Good physicals, that trio again, bravery, determination, team player. I like that on the third and fourth line. There's a little bit of leadership there as well from Como. But also, on that fourth line, he does have the chance to get forward. And he gets open well, he gets forward, he can create some chances, score some goals. And, it's not just a purely grinding line. So, I haven't set up the lines yet. I'm waiting for the right winger, Sidlovsky, to come in, and our right defenseman, Milok. But that's kind of the lineup I'm going for. The other thing I wanted to see about people, and leave a comment about this potential trade I'm about to set up. I was messing about with a few things, a couple of ways I felt I could improve the side. And we might not need to do this move, but it's something that I think that I want to do. So leave your thoughts on how fair and how balanced this trade is. Are we giving up too much? Are we, is it unrealistic we're giving up too little? I think personally we'd give up a little bit too much to make this deal. But, the Montreal Canadiens. Now, Montreal are a great team. And they do have some great players. Kachelniak, you got Pacioretty, PK Subban, Carey Price. Now, I like goaltending. I said that earlier, guys. A great goaltender will win you more games than any other position. I am firm in my belief on that. And Carey Price is an outstanding goaltender. I mean, look at that, guys. Look, just look at it. Not only the goalie ratings, look at the mentals. Okay, he's not a great leader, but we might not need that on this team. But everything else is so good. It's so good. So, 28-year-old Carey Price. That's the first player to add in this. And yes, there's more than one in this trade. If you can put PK Subban in front of Carey Price, I'm sorry, but look at those physicals. He's not too bad on the defensive side of the ice. You need to find someone that's really a stay-at-home defenseman. I think we've got that. He'd probably go on the first line for me with Beauchemin. And, yeah. There isn't too many out there better than PK Subban. And, yeah, it's just, he's got a little bit of room to grow as well. Carey Price is probably the best goalie in the game. PK Subban is probably going to be the best defenseman in the game, or close to it. Now, to get something, you've got to give something. And both those are 5-star potentials. We're not giving up Nate. We're not giving up Gabby. We're not giving up Mats. Rantanen I like for the future. We don't need Varlamov if we've got Carey Price. So you can see here it's hardly likely they will accept this offer. That is absolutely fine. That is absolutely fine. I tried a different number of players in here, and Eric Johnson, if we get in Subban, we can get rid of Johnson. It is an upgrade. It's a little bit younger, a little bit better. It's not going to make any difference at all to this deal. What we've got to give up here to get Carey Price, PK Subban, is Varlamov, a first, a second, and a third. Now, I can stagger these out over different years. We can give up a third from 2018, a second next season, and a third this season. That's perfectly fine. But it's basically Varlamov, first, second, third, for Carey Price and PK Subban. That's a well-balanced offer. That is something that we can do. And I just don't know if it's worth it. Now, Varlamov, I would rate as a first-round pick. I would rate him as a first-round pick. Now, Price is probably worth 2 first-round picks on his own, maybe even 3. I'm not too sure, maybe even 3. So, we're not going to be able to draft a player like Carey Price unless we're picking first overall. We're not going to be able to pick a PK Subban unless we're top 3, I'd say. So the fact there is a first and a second is more than enough for Carey Price. Especially if we're doing well, our first is not going to be worth much. We're not going to get any players up here. We're going to have to give up a lot to get up to that spot anyway. I think the ages are right, the skill level's right, the extra bit of potential on Subban is right, and the fact that this still allows us to either drop Eric Johnson, down to the second line defense, or to trade him and pick up, I think the best I could find was a third for him, which I think's low, but maybe we package him up with a couple of youngsters and the third round pick. If we drop our first round, lose the third round pick from 2018, and then we try and get a first round for that year to replace the first we're giving up. Maybe we can do something along those lines. I'm not sure what the trading is like in this game. So that is something, guys. That is something to think about. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Is this a good trade? Is this something you want to see? How fair, how balanced is it? Who's getting the better end of the deal? Now you can tweet at me at Chris Orme as well. Let me know on Twitter what you think about this deal. The comment section here. Go nuts. If you've got any other ideas about trades, throw them out there. Any players you'd like to see me target. But yeah, right now this is the one that's kind of occupying my brain, and I'm really, really tempted just to pull the trigger and see if it goes through. But I'll wait on that. We've got enough time to wait for this trade, so you let me know on that. One trade I have gone ahead and done, and this is, I haven't accepted this yet either, but I was looking at some of my players down in the youth teams, and Greer looks like a decent player, but he's another left winger, and we really don't need left wingers. Like, we really don't need left wingers. He's solid, he's dependable. I don't think he's got as much potential as 4 stars. He might do, but Rantanen is ahead of him for me. Landeskog is very young. I just don't know. I don't know if I'll be happy with Greer on that third line, especially with Bodka, who could play on the third or second line for the next 7 years without an issue. So I think he might develop too well to be held on those lines. Similarly though, centres, we've got Mats Duchene, Nate McKinnon, Grigorenko. I am thinking about maybe trading away Grigorenko later on. So there might be a third line spot for Danton Heinen. And yeah, we don't know anything about this guy, but we're basically trading same for same. The only thing is, he's currently in Denver, which is why I spotted him. And I know the name. Somebody I know has recommended this guy to me in previous, not previous games, but in different games. So, yeah, he's been recommended as a pretty decent prospect. Whereas I've never really even heard of AJ Greer. There's not been a lot of buzz about him. So 2.5 4-star for 2.5 4-star. We're trading. They're getting a younger player. We're getting someone who might be better in our system, and allows us to get rid of Grigorenko, because I don't want to get rid of Landeskog, Bodka or Rantanen at this stage. So the fourth line is pretty much the only place we've got on the left wing. Greer can't play right wing, otherwise I would have converted him and kept him. Heinen though, I don't know. They're both leaders. I think they're both two-way forwards. But I think we're just going to have to do that between us and Boston. So AJ Greer is going to go out. You can see 12s and 13s. That's pretty much where they are. And we're just going to find out exactly what Heinen can do. Because I don't know, guys. I don't know. So, we've got the rights to him now. We've traded the rights away for Greer. So we can get him scouted out at some point. Difficult negotiations. I don't believe it was that difficult. But I'm going to make some minor league trades like that. We're still waiting for these two to come in, like I say. So let me go set up the lines. Ready for these two to come in. And we'll be back when we get that done. Okay then, guys. Well, these are our lines as I said. Interestingly, this game actually uses 4 defensive lines, not 3, as most others. So we might have to promote another set of defensemen to the first team squad. So I'm not too sure on that, because I think we're supposed to dress 20 players and we got our 16. Sorry, not 16. We got 12 here. We got our 6 here. So that makes 18 plus the 2 goalies are 20. So I'm not sure if that is right there or not. So I'll have to look into that later on. Our power play, pretty much the first line and the second line isn't too far away. Yeah, so if anything here looks out of sorts or anything you want to question, please do. But that's kind of what we're going to set up like for our first couple of matches, with Sidlovsky on that third line right wing and the third line right defenseman Nicholas Milok. So yeah, we will see about that, guys. We will see about that. So I'm going to move forward now until those contracts are hopefully signed, and then we're in a much better position and we know where we're going to be. So we'll be right back with it. Well, guys, we're back. That didn't take too long at all. Colorado turns to Nicholas Milok at defenseman, 18-year-old. So welcome, Nicholas. That's that deal done. And Sean Sidlovsky says it was an easy decision for me to make. Indeed, it must have been. I mean, he was stuck down there in the Rampage. No, he was at Fort Wayne Comets, wasn't he? But he's good enough. He is certainly good enough to join our team. So he'll move on to the third line. Our third line defenseman will also step up. And yeah, this guy doesn't seem to be one who was doing too much. So look at his career stats. Where has he been? See, the AHL, ECHL, and that's about it. That's about it. So in the Ontario, that's not bad. It's not a point a game which you'd like to see from players at that level. The AHL, he did not do much. But the ECHL, again, he's almost up to that point per game sort of player. And that's okay. That's okay. So Sean Sidlovsky, he's 6'1". He's happy. That's the main thing. We've got a happy player on our hands. So let me clear up this. Okay, thus the emails all set up and deleted. We still got our entry draft ranking there, just so we can keep an eye on players that have been recommended. So let's go on to the lines, and we're gonna see where's Milok. Is Milok not down here? And is he? Oh, this is the dress list. Of course, we gotta dress them first. So dress player and dress player. So dressed 20 of 20. We'll allow 3 more players up here if we need them. When we look at ability, Varlamov is the best. However, we could improve that by bringing in a really nice defender and a slightly better goaltender with the trade I showed you earlier. Carey Price, PK Subban, Favali, a first, second and third round pick. Apart from that, it's a good core of players. Johnson, who we could trade away as part of that, or as part of another trade after we do that trade with the Canadiens. Landeskog, McKinnon, Duchesne are 3 best players. So we've got the offense sorted. This would allow us to improve defense very, very nicely. And of course, Jerome McGinley might be in his last season or 2 with us, 38 years of age. If we're not making the playoff, I'm going to attempt to trade Jerome away. I think that's only fair to him and to us. We'll rebuild through youth. We'll go after young defensemen in the draft, get Bushman and Stewart out as well. So yeah, those will be our trading assets at that stage. Potentially, when you look at our team, fourth line, old guys, fourth line and currently second line right wing and third line right wing, but we can improve. We could get rid of Soderberg, trade him away, Zidlowski down to the third line, and get a second line right winger at some point. That's always a possibility for us. Grigorenko, I like. Bodka's good depth. Picard's good backup. Youngster, trading asset if we don't get to the playoffs. Zadorov, Barry, Johnson, a good defensive core there at 4-star. But Johnson might get upgraded to PK Subban if we did pull the trigger on that deal. And then Rantanen and Landeskog down that left-hand side. Valley, who could become Carey Price. And McKinnon, Duchesne. So it's the right-hand side of this team that worries me slightly. We do need right-wingers. I need to find some great young right-wing talent. And that might come through the draft. We might have to pick up one or two in defense through the draft to replace Beauchemin and Stewart. So do we improve the team via trade? Do we improve it through the draft? I'm not sure how to build this lineup right now. But really, guys, this looks to me to be a pretty solid lineup. So, Landeskog, Duchesne, Iginla, Bodka, McKinnon, Soderberg, Rantanen, Grigorenko, Zidlowski, Comeau, Mitchell, and Skill. In defense, Beauchemin and Johnson take first line time. Stewart and Barry on the second. Zadorov and Milok on that third. Valdi is the current starter. Calvin Pickard is our backup. So I think we've got a decent little set of players here. Signed one youngster who's got good potential. Signed someone from our farm team who fills a need on that right-hand side. But yeah, guys, what changes do you want to see me make? Do we do that trade or not? Are there any other trades that we can do? And also, depending on our pick, we're probably going to be able to get one of these 30. So, I'm going to just mouse over them so their ratings pop up. You can pause the video and sort of check out who they are, what their ratings are right now, what their skills are right now. You can see there 13, 12, 12, 12 for Dubois. He's someone I like, but he is a left winger. Defenseman Chicherin is an excellent prospect as well. And on the right hand side you got Nylander, Puljajavi and Patrick Lane, who I'd love to get myself. Later on down the draft, I think Kreese looked a nice player for me personally. I'm not sure who else. I do think that there's one of these centers down here, Asplund, DeBrincat, Kunin or Bellows Brown. It's one of these late centers as well, which looks pretty decent. So yeah, let me know if any of these guys are people you think will turn into a good player that maybe we should target or not. But for now, we're going to leave it there. This video is getting on. We should be on to our first game very, very soon, because apart from that one trade and a bit of scouting, I really don't feel like there's too much we need to do to this team now that we've got our roster kind of sorted with our starting lineup that I'm fairly happy with. Milok's the only one below starting ability, and I'm hoping he has a good season to progress. He definitely has the potential to become a starting defenseman on this team. So, you know, Soderberg's slightly out of position on that right-hand side. So, anything else you'd like to see me do, please let me know. But we should be getting on, like I say, to the first game next video. So, keep an eye out for that. If you have liked, share, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at Chris Orme. Hit the like button, all that good stuff, guys. And we'll see you back here very soon for some more Rumbling Rockies and the Colorado Avalanche. I've been Chris Orme. This is FHM2. And I'll see you next time, guys.